B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The Moose.
Might not be an A, but you are a B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? Cause we're steady on the ground, steady on the ground. You wanna mess with us?
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for all the rest. Mr. Mysterious, how you doing?
Going good. We're going to cover a bit of that, or do you feel like covering a bit of Survivor, man?
All the rest is already in the can. I've edited it. It's ready to go out to the world. I just have to do all the typey things, hit all the buttons, and let it go out there. But I thought before I hit the publish button on that one, we should get another podcast in the can that I can edit later where we talk about Survivor, because tonight is Survivor night.
I never thought when I signed up to be a part of the B Plus that as part of the extended programming we would be talking about Australian Survivor, but here we are.
You know, neither did I. I am not a huge reality TV guy. Outside Total Divas, Ms. and Mrs.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest. It's fine.
Look, reality TV is a work. Yeah.
Yes.
It's all a work. Everything's a fucking work. The news is a work, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide.
Did he though? Did he?
And you know what's really fascinating about that? Look, we don't want to get political on the B Plus podcast, but what's really fascinating to me is my friends on the far left, my friends on the far right, everyone agrees this is not a suicide. It's a work. Everything's a work. I love wrestling. So the Matty Wahlberg, of course, our gateway into Survivor. Are you a Survivor fan prior to Matty Wahlberg being cast, and Harry Avalon, of course, you're a Perth guy, being cast on Survivor?
I was not, unfortunately. I have watched on and off, but not religiously, because Survivor's been on for God knows how many years, and I've never been invested like I am now, so Matty has been the gateway for me, and Harry to an extent, but like really,
a testament to Matty Wahlberg's star power. That look, Johnny Nitro didn't get me to watch Survivor, but Matty Wahlberg did. So
yeah, there you go.
A testament. Yeah. So once again, guys, welcome to a podcast of two wrestling nerds who know nothing about Survivor, trying to break down what happened on this week in Australian Survivor before you watch tonight's episode, which tonight's episode looks fantastic, but we'll get to that. We got episode 6, 7, and 8. Now, I was a bad boy, and I did not take notes during episode 8, so gonna fly by the seat of my pants with that one. But let's start with episode 6, which aired last Sunday, so a week ago today. The show ended. We'll start with who went home. E.T. went home. Yeah,
they were going
on
about
the champions side.
Yeah, like arguably the best athlete on their team at that time, and
arguably,
and they were. Oh, I'm trying to remember. They had the rope challenge, and he held it for about 30 minutes without struggling, like completely zen. And
Zen Master E.T., he was just in the fucking zone, eyes closed.
Loved it.
He did not move. And like, even when he got to the point where he was like, okay, I need to switch out, he was still just eyes closed, feet in the one position they'd been in for 30 minutes, hands in the one position they'd been in for 30 minutes. And he just very calmly, he's like, okay, gonna need someone now.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. This guy's a master. How do you vote E.T. out when he's like, again, arguably, I mean, Abby's still around, right?
Yeah.
So Abby and E.T. are probably the two strongest players when it comes to challenge time for the Champions tribe as it stands in episode 6. How do you vote out E.T.?
They seem to be relying more on the relationships they're building at eliminations rather than actually avoiding elimination. That's like that. They're thinking like these relationships will work for them in the longer term, when really, like, Matty for the contender side has actually been saying, like, focus more on the, like, avoiding elimination first before you assemble these relationships.
Yeah, best way to stay in the game is to be immune.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and the contenders tribe, Matty Wahlberg leading the charge. It seems like he's always the one grabbing the idol. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He's always the one carrying the idol back. But yeah, his strategy definitely seems to be win at all costs.
We talked about ET like holding the rope for a while. Like it was down to the wire between Matt and Luke for that challenge, and Matt seemed to take advice from ET. Like he was in the zone for a good portion of that, and just Luke was just all over the place. He was grunting.
To be fair to Luke, Luke was tagged in earlier than Matty.
Yes, that's true.
Right. So, but I feel like Matty probably could have held it for longer anyway. I love that when they got to the end of that challenge and he's like, "Have we won? Have we won?" He just lets go. He doesn't give. Was it Hannah that was on the platform?
Yeah.
He doesn't give Hannah the opportunity. No, it was Casey. He doesn't give her the opportunity. He's not like, "Casey, walk off." He just lets go. She drops into the ocean anyway.
Oh, sorry, Casey as well. She was playing the mind games while she's on the platform, while everyone's like trying to not look down, which is very clever.
Yes, very much so. And talking to the other team, and this is where she finds out that David is a bold-faced liar.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because he's been telling people because that was the immunity challenge, wasn't it? The one with the dropping into the ocean.
Yes.
Before that, they'd had the other challenge with the tug of war.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it was funny to see that we can talk about the tug of war as well. Yeah. But when they won the reward, the champions win the rewards a lot. Burgers, and they took Baden, and Baden got to take Sean.
Yeah.
And Sean, of course, holds what we know is a fake idol.
Yes.
Right, a fake immunity idol that he swapped with David for a real immunity idol. Mm-hmm. And so David's feeling like he's on top of the world, but then he's freaking out because Sean's coming over to camp and he's like, has he opened it? Does he realize it's a fake? Oh, holy shit, this could be very bad. Mm-hmm. But Sean hasn't had the time to open it yet. And so he goes over and Dave just starts spinning these lies. Yeah, I played the idol already. I played it to save Pia. And so then Sean goes back to camp and he's telling Casey, and then she's up on the platform,
mm-hmm.
the platform of death.
Yeah.
And she's just like, is it true that David played an idol for you? And Pia's like, I wish. No. What? It's just,
nah.
Like, David's game is starting to fall apart. Like when it comes to if he makes it to merge, everyone on the other tribe knows he's a complete liar.
Yes.
And not to trust him. So it's fascinating watching David. David's a really good heel.
He's very smart. Yeah. I'm surprised.
I don't know how smart he is because I feel like he's playing too hard too early.
Oh, I'd argue that's more Andy, but
Andy played a different kind of hard. We've got to talk about Jono as well. Jono opened this episode out. They do their little fluff piece before the opening credits.
Uh-huh.
You know, before you get the what music,
mm-hmm.
they do the little fluff piece at the beginning, like the crab that's
mm-hmm.
infiltrated camp or whatever, and just Jono complaining. This is how you know you're watching an Australian version of Survivor.
Yes.
He's worried about jock rot and a drollet, you know, a dreaded mullet because he hasn't been able to wash his hair. Is he the most Australian man on television?
The size of that mustache tells me yes at this point.
He's the Brink of Reality podcast, I believe it was. I've been listening to a few Survivor podcasts. It's been good to help me get into it, to help me understand the gameplay a little more. And yeah, I think it was Brink of Reality. It might have been The Merge, but on one of the podcasts I listened to, they mentioned that they're pretty sure that he's a time traveler, like someone in the 80s is missing their father. He went out to get smokes. He went out to work in the mine and then somehow time traveled and ended up on Survivor.
Like he's the most equipped to be on that show. Like he's used to the food diet. He's used to the challenges.
It's the way he loves the beans, man.
Yeah.
But we see a new side of John in episode 7.
Yes.
Right? Now, look, this is episode 6, just quickly, when we get to the tribal council with the champions. They had a chance here to blindside David because David's really pushing he has the idol, he's feeling on top of the world, and so he's pushing the politics in the tribe. He's driving the discussions about who's going to go home and whatnot. And they had a real chance to blindside David here, and they didn't take it.
No.
Right? That's why I say he's such a great heel, because everyone on the tribe knows that he's a snake.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still going along with him. How? It's like they're drinking the Paul Heyman Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, we haven't gotten checks in a few weeks, but it's all right. Paul Heyman has a vision.
It's like
Right?
they understand how they think they understand how manipulative he is, but like they're only scratching the surface, and they're thinking that he's not an immediate threat when really like he is the immediate threat.
He is. He's driving so much of it. And like you have to look at it and go, look, in episode 4, the person he wanted to go home went home. In episode 5, the person he wanted to go home went home. And now we're here at episode 6, and he wants ET to go home. We kind of want him to go home, and ET goes home. After that, if you're not like, we need to get rid of this guy, he's controlling every elimination. As soon as he says my name, I'm fucked. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I would be thinking if I was in camp. Even if I'm Luke, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the closest ally with Dave. I want Luke to turn on David, man.
Yeah.
I want Luke to turn on David. That's what I want, because Luke can be, sticking with the Paul Heyman analogy, Luke can be Taz or the Dudley Boys going to WWE in that final hour, right? And you know the writing's on the wall then. David's going down because without the Dudley Boys, David's screwed. Paul Heyman's screwed. I'm mixing my analogy. You get what I'm saying?
I do
want
actually.
Luke to turn.
I do, like, because at the moment they are this unit. Like, they're talking about how they're both going to walk up the tribal council with both their idols and just show off like their status. But there's like, no, we'll take our time. But yeah, if David didn't have Luke, he'd be screwed.
Yeah, Luke is a Bubba Ray Dudley to Paul Heyman, which is Dave, or Luke, or he could be the Tommy Dreamer. Don't be the Tommy Dreamer, Luke. Don't go down with the ship. Jump now. Jump now. Turn on David. Blindside him. We need him blindsided tonight.
I see enough of Tommy Dreamer on Impact, man. Like, I don't want to think of Luke as Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Luke, don't be Tommy Dreamer. No one likes Tommy Dreamer anymore. So that's episode 6 in a nutshell. People want David to go home. People are sick of him being so controlling. And I said here, like, the girls' alliance on the Champions Tribe with Janine, Pia, and Abby is so strong. They're very tight knit. And so if you're on the new Contenders Tribe in episode 7, you need to watch out for those girls, especially because they may bring Casey into the fold and then they'll be unstoppable. So
you can see someone is trying to get into that relationship. A certain person from Perth, trying to talk about his family. And
Harry, old mate Harry. No, it's a very gendered alliance. Have you noticed now? Just from listening to podcasts again, I have not watched Survivor outside of this season and like the first season when I was a kid. But gendered alliances are apparently a thing.
Yes, I can say that.
But from what I gather, it's always the women banding together because they don't want the men to vote them out. But the guys never seem to have that same thought until the women get too strong.
Yeah.
Is this some weird societal thing that I'm picking up on? Like, I have, like, it's crazy to me because I would never look at it in that way, but clearly they do going in because they stuck together from the beginning, and it's such a strong alliance, and they're a force to be reckoned with.
I think it's just as well, like, who was the people on their team that were winning all the challenges, and like who were the driving athletes for their respective groups. I think that might play a part of it. Like, when they realize, like, okay, like, say, like John is one of the clear athletes, Matty's one of the clear athletes. Just we'll play the longer game. We'll try and keep it quiet. But I don't know.
So the champions they tossed up between ET and Simon, I believe. Was it Simon that was up?
ET and I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, it was something because Abby. I remember Abby giving the speech about how hard it was because Simon was someone she grew up looking up to.
Yeah, no,
as an AFL player.
Yeah,
and ET was someone who felt like a father figure since she got to know him.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, Simon and ET. Yep.
And of the two, how Simon didn't end up getting the flick, I do not know because I feel like he should have been the one out of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But then the girls had the opportunity to blindside David and they didn't. And they're a strong alliance, and that was their chance to really take control of that tribe. And it sucks that they didn't. But
better luck next time.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because come episode 7, we start with a tribe swap.
Yes, everything, all the relationships have to be re-established, and some people are clinging to the old champions, contenders mentality. Most of them are, but other people are trying to work from scratch and go from here.
Yeah. So over on the new contenders tribe,
Yes.
we still have Matty Wahlberg, we still have Harry,
Yes.
we still have Casey and Hannah.
Yes.
And then from the Champions tribe moving over to this new contenders tribe is the Women's Alliance of Abby, Pia, and Janine.
Mm-hmm.
And we also still have Ross in the mix, and Simon, I believe, came over.
It sounds about right. Like, because I know for the
No, Simon's still a is Simon still a champion? Yeah, Simon came over as well.
Yeah, but I know that from the other side. So the only original champions left are David and Luke for the other side.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so Sean is now a champion.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I really should have written down the new teams.
Yeah.
David and Luke are the only champions left, and so then on the champions tribe, you now have Baden, Sammy, Andy, Sarah,
Hannah,
Daisy, and Jono.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Daisy and Jono. And then, so over on the contenders tribe, you got Harry, you touched on it.
Yes.
Trying to get in with the Women's Alliance because he's noticed that they're strong. And so he decides it's a good idea to lie about having a son. That is a bad choice.
It's a bad idea. Little 3-year-old, he's missing his birthday, Greg. How could he do that to his children?
What's gonna happen when Janine's just talking to Maddie? You know, they're out there with the machete chopping down the ferns, which they seem to do a lot.
Oh yeah,
as they're talking.
It's their best pastime.
So they're out there chopping down the ferns, and Janine's just having a chat with Maddie, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you never mentioned the sun before you guys showed up. Like you've been there 2 weeks. If you wanted this to be your lie, establish it at the beginning." How did you go 2 weeks without mentioning you have a son? Absolute ridiculousness. Absolute ridiculousness. But Harry actually may be the key to the contenders surviving.
Yes.
Which we can talk about when we get to episode 8. But at this point, we're still in a place where we're not getting a lot of contenders action on the telly because the contenders are losing reward and then winning immunity. And so everything focuses on the champions tribe. Even after the tribe swap, the champions lose, right? When the immunity challenge. And so they're going back to tribal council. And it's the politics on the champions tribe is so fascinating because you have David and Luke, the only 2 leftover champions.
Yes. And
then you have 7 contenders. It's a lock, right? David or Luke are going home.
You would have thought, yes. Yeah.
So they formulate this plan. Okay, plan B is we're going to walk into tribal council with our idols on, so they know they can't send us home, and they have to scramble to figure out during the tribal council what they're going to do. Amazing plan. That would have made for great fucking television.
And if there was a little bit more trust in the group, then it probably would have worked.
Yeah, but of course their plan A was look for cracks. And so they start pulling everyone to the side. But they didn't even need to look for the cracks because Daisy's sitting there in the water with John just being like, maybe we should send home Sam. Like, what?
Yeah.
And Matty Wahlberg's Twitter is an endless source of entertainment while watching Survivor. It bums me out because I have to go on and look at the tweets later because I'm in, and you would probably have this issue too, right? Because I'm in Adelaide.
Time zone.
The show airs at a different time, and so I don't get to watch live with everyone else, and so they're tweeting about it, and so then I have to go back and comb through the tweets to find the good stuff. But Matty said that this didn't come out of nowhere because we didn't get to see it, of course, because the contenders tribe kept winning immunity, but Daisy had talked about getting rid of Sam before.
No.
So very interesting. Oh, we didn't actually touch on actual idiot Matty Wahlberg.
Yeah, so he won the
Let's
challenge.
go back to episode 6.
Yeah, he won the challenge, and like I'm surprised this actually, like this is such a clickbait thing. It's like after winning the challenge for the team, he's just like he's feeling good, like I'm the greatest and stuff. And then one of the ladies just like you're an absolute idiot. And like,
yeah, I think I think Abby was like that bloke is an actual idiot.
and then like the very next day, like you see on the 9 News headlines, like one of the survivors says that Matty Wahlberg is an absolute idiot.
Yeah, and they called it burn of the season or whatever. Which I mean, come on, guys, it's early days.
What?
It's early days. But how can you call that the burn of the season when literally 10 minutes beforehand,
Yeah,
Matty got up there and said, "I think it's really fitting. It's quite biblical that they win the reward and have their little last meal together before we send one of them home."
yeah.
That was a way better burn than just calling someone an idiot.
They're really like they're not giving Matt enough screen time of like they're focusing on him as the athlete and like not as the strategist at this point. Like they're just and they're not even highlighting the fact that he keeps winning all the challenges.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into the contenders politics when they start having to go to council, but it looks like it's not going to happen. I'm expecting the contenders to just keep winning until merge now at this point.
You can't
Because their team is so much stronger.
you can't go to tribal council if you keep winning immunity every week.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous how it's but Matty, I don't know, man. He's such a fucking star. And he also gave some context on Twitter as to why he was so vocal after that challenge, because obviously these shows are edited. Like we said,
Yes.
it's all a work.
Yes.
Right. And the production team sit there and they edit it together to tell the story they want. But Matty's on Twitter just giving away the secrets. He's just like, look, before the challenge or during the challenge, Luke and I think he said Abby were talking a bunch of trash and trying to throw him off his game. Right. But he still held it together and held on longer than Luke, and Luke lost. Which, by the way, brings the score to like 6-2, I think. Matty versus no, that's in episode 8 when they do the swimming. But I'm keeping a tally, and in the challenges we've seen, because I think they actually film other challenges that don't make it to TV.
Okay.
I think. I'd have to ask Matty about it, but from what I've heard on other Survivor podcasts, they do other challenges that we don't see sometimes. So I don't know how that works, but he said that they were talking trash to throw him off, but he still won, bringing him up to 5-2 at this point in his clashes with Luke. It's the greatest feud ever.
Yes.
And also beforehand, Jonathan LaPaglia, I hope I'm saying that right, the host of the show, was referring to Matty Wahlberg as a dog that's all bark and no bite. Which he's winning all the challenges. So how can you say there's no bite when he's winning and he's still there for a fucking reason, right? Because let's be real, Matty Wahlberg, not necessarily the most likable guy.
No, but I think it's smart as well, the fact that not only is he doing this like to set the record straight for his Twitter, but if we refer back to our interview on the B+, where you had a chance to talk to him the other week, where he's saying like he's ready for anyone to try and talk smack about Survivor. Like he's setting the record straight. And he's like, if someone tries to slip up and actually try and challenge him about that stuff, and he'll be able to say like, well, if you've been paying attention, this is actually what happened.
But it gives context to the words he was saying, because he paced back and forth, and he was very, when you win something, you're hopped up on adrenaline, right?
He's like a natural born athlete. Like, of course, he's feeling excited.
He is the NBA, the natural born athlete, and so he's got that adrenaline coursing through his veins, and he's like, I ain't no dog, right? Which we never saw anyone call him a dog.
Nah.
So it seemed like, what she said is right. He's an actual idiot. Why is he pacing back and forth talking about dogs? But no, they just cut that out of the edit, so we didn't see it. It was a hit job, a slash job on Matty Wahlberg, and I don't appreciate it. But I think it's really interesting to see Matty as well, because with the tribe swap, he's obviously in the tribe with less contenders than champions.
Yes.
And so the numbers are against him. And he's like, it doesn't matter if I keep winning immunity. I love that attitude. But beyond that, Matty is the guy who we saw in week 1. Very, very, he's a great cheerleader for his team.
Yes. He's very supportive.
Right? He's a team player. And he's and he's very much being like, contenders are going to win this. And so he's in that tribe mentality.
Mhm.
And so he's talked a lot of trash to the other team. Now they swap and they're outnumbering him on his own team. And he needs them to win immunity for the next couple of nights so that he can establish himself like, yeah, I talk trash to the other team and now they're the other team. You're my team and I'm here to cheer you on now. He needs to establish that within this new tribe.
Yeah.
Which is why winning immunity is so important to him. And I don't think we're getting enough confessionals from him to show that that's
not
the mentality. But I really feel like that's got to be the mentality, right?
And if we're taking it back to episode 6, like how everyone was so shocked that ET left, and he was, as we said, like the best athlete for the champions at that time. Like you have to think at some point the other the new contenders now have to register like, yeah, Matty is our biggest asset right now. Like we can't just get him out willy nilly.
Yeah, Matty and Sean's still on the contender. I'm getting so confused with these teams now, man. The tribe swap fucked me up. Sean is a very strong player as well when it comes to challenge time.
Another strong silent type at this moment. Not enough confessionals from him either.
No, but he's very much he's the horse, right?
Yeah, I think
he's the horse.
He's on the contender side still. So yeah, he's the workhorse.
Yeah, he's the horse. And so with Matty and Sean, and carrying the physical challenges, but then you've still got Ross doesn't do too badly in the physical challenges. He won the tug of war for them.
Mm-hmm.
Janine does really well in the physical challenges. I don't see how the contenders don't clean sweep until merge.
Yeah.
Other than producer magic.
Yeah. Like I'm just trying to think, like, because they're establishing the athleticism, they're establishing the close knit group in terms of like being a team, and they don't have to worry about the strategy side of the elimination side. Yeah, I don't see it happening for another. God, I'm going to say this week 3. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, we might get one more contender going home this week. I don't know. But let's carry on. Episode 7. So we've talked about, obviously, Harry doesn't have a child. The contenders win the immunity, and now we're at the politics with the champions again. And David's cockiness is just unbearable. Such a great heel to watch.
Yep.
And Daisy decides to. We talked about it. They're sitting in the water with John. She decides to switch the vote to Sam, and they completely blindside her by aligning with David and Luke and bringing Baden over. Baden's a bit of a floater at the moment.
Yeah, like again, like not much confessionals out of him either. Like he's just going along for the ride at this point.
Yeah, well, you got the core 4 now on the new champions team, which is David, Luke, Daisy, and John. And John's being a bit silent as well. Which when he was on the original contenders tribe, he was life of the party.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like he still is a little bit, but he's definitely he's fallen in with Daisy, and Daisy to me. Okay, so David, we've talked about David being a top heel, right? I've compared him to Paul Heyman, but Daisy, she's the final boss, man. I swear to God, this girl.
This isn't her final form.
Dangerous.
She is gonna get ready for some hard hitting strategy soon.
Yeah. She is dangerous. And in episode 8, there's a slight attempt at removing her, and she doesn't flinch.
No. And, like, she was able to manipulate David, sorry, not Luke, so well in the fact that she wants Sammy gone, and David's just like, oh yeah, I don't like Sammy's face, let's just do it. And he's able to just, like, David is just underestimating her, like, manipulation. And everyone seems to be not realizing, like, this could be producer magic as well, but they don't realize just how much of a threat she is.
Yeah. She's the final boss. It's crazy. Now, also in this episode, we had Sean telling Andy about his idol.
Yes.
Right? And this was right before the tribe swap. So Andy knows that Sean has an idol over on the other beach. And he also knows that David has an idol. So his goal in this tribal council is to flush the idol. Doesn't happen. And it's again, it's one of those things David has maneuvered very intelligently, but also he's made some big plays that have left him open to some dangers later on. But Andy, in the desperation after Sammy goes. So after it's made very clear the blind side happens at the end of this episode.
Yes.
And then moving into episode 8, Andy is desperate. Now, last week, me and Mikey talked about Andy being kind of like the final boss behind Harry. Harry was a bit of a snake, but Andy was better at it and was letting Harry do the work. Right?
Now it's completely different.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, the Contenders tribe, they didn't get to flex those muscles and get good at them like David and Luke had. Right? So Andy comes into this episode 8 just coming out the bat, just being so transparent, so obviously playing the game that Andy has to have lost any potential alliances at this point. He's a dead man walking, to use JLP's term.
No, he is absolutely a dead man walking, and to be fair, it looked like his strategy would have worked if not, again, for Daisy. Daisy's the one who just completely sideswiped the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, what about? See, he's so calculating. At the end of the tribal council in episode 7, he goes and whispers
into John's ear.
In Sean's ear, just so the next day at camp he's able to say, "Oh, I wanted to make sure that I was switching the vote in your favor." That's pretty calculating.
Yeah.
Like he's got moves, but also he doesn't know how to whisper.
Yes.
And I actually thought for a split second, I thought Andy's going to go home tonight. This is when Sarah knows her name is on the chopping block. Well, actually, hang on, rewind. I want to talk about the challenge first. Because Matty Wahlberg had another great burn.
Yep.
Didn't make it to news.com.au, but he had another great burn after he wins the swimming contest, and he's just sitting there, he's just floating there in the water, and he's just like, I'm the natural born, I can swim too.
Yeah.
I'm the natural born athlete, baby. Like, is there anything I can't do? And was it Abby again? No, it wasn't Abby, because it was someone on the other team. So it would have been Hannah, maybe, or Daisy. And they said to him, oh, you can't be humble.
It's like, would you be?
Yeah, that's what he said to her. He's like, you wouldn't be humble if you were this good. Right? Which, by implication, is saying, you're not as good as me. Like, that's a better burn than, what an idiot. I'm sorry. Australian mainstream media is awful.
They are not, they don't realize, like, they should have brushed up on Matty Wahlberg's history. They really should have.
Man, Matty's insults have layers, bro. Matty's insults have level. He referenced the fucking Bible.
Yeah.
But calling him an idiot is a big burn. I'm so mad about this. But I love that he's turned it into it's his Twitter name now. He's actual idiot Matty Wahlberg. And he's talked about putting it on a shirt, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm already on the hook if he releases a Champion A shirt, right?
Yep.
I'm on the hook for that shirt. I want to buy that shirt. If he releases an actual idiot shirt that's not a black shirt, I'm buying that shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Matty Wahlberg's turning this game into fucking money.
And like, they don't earn, like, you get the articles as well that come out that talk about the tell-all stories about Survivor. They only get like about $90 a day. So getting some extra cash outside of it, go for it, Matty.
Okay, but they're getting $90 a day. It's also an opportunity to build their personal brands.
Yes,
it's also an opportunity at the $500,000.
Yes.
So, I mean, that $90 a day, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You're there for the experience. I mean, when you're not doing the challenges, I mean, the challenges are probably pretty hard, and I guess living with very little food and stuff is probably hard. But it's also kind of a vacation in a way.
In a way.
You're on the beach in the morning in Fiji watching the sunrise.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Like, and you're getting paid $90 a day? Okay, sure. You're eating rice and beans.
Yes.
Okay? But come on. Who's going to complain about that? Anyway. No, Matty's doing such a good job with the social media coming out of it. You can see his numbers going up and up and up. Have you paid much attention to the Instagram stories and such? Have you seen his and Luke's feud continuing online now?
I have been focusing on his Instagram more than his Twitter, actually. Yeah, so I was unaware of the actual idiot on his Twitter handle.
Yeah, he's the actual idiot, Matty Wahlberg. I love it. But no, Luke's taking shots, like posting photos, calling himself "I'm the real 21st century success story." Luke's like putting out Instagram videos where he's holding like a replica Intercontinental Championship, being like, "I'm the real champion, baby."
Oh my god!
You know? And Matty's calling him out. if we don't get a Matty Wahlberg versus Luke match in some promotion somewhere in Australia, promoters are sleeping on money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Luke, yeah, of all the contenders, yeah, he'd have the best chance in the squared circle.
Have a word to Mana.
Oh,
Luke is a
God.
Perth boy. Luke is a Perth
He's
boy.
a Perth boy, yes.
Have a word to Mana, brother. I'm telling you.
God.
There is money to be made.
Yeah, no, I can see it, but man, yeah, like you have to bring over Matty from. It's like I don't know if it'd be more likely like him coming over, like Matty coming over here, or Luke going over to Sydney, like for PWA or
Just
something.
get Luke trained up. Yeah, no. The money is in a PWA match, but get Luke trained up is what I'm saying.
God.
Get Luke trained up. The money for that match is in PWA or Wrestling Go. Let's be real.
You have to.
That's where that match belongs. That's where that match lives.
He's calling himself the People's Champion. You have to think at some point he has been a wrestling fan in his life.
Oh, he has to. Just he has an Intercontinental Championship replica belt.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm guessing he's a wrestling fan. This has to happen. This has to happen. Or the other thing I'm looking at too is I'm seeing them feud on social media and stuff, and I'm like, do they really hate each other? Or when it comes to merge, do they form the strongest alliance ever?
If there's anyone,
Luke turns on David when we get to merge. Luke turns on David. He aligns with Matty Wahlberg, and they go all the way to the final two.
I mean, in terms of like, he could have just like earned his respect after this long feud, and like really, the true winner is that their friendship, and just eliminate David.
Disney movie Survivor. Look, that's my fantasy booking, all right? I want these two to become brothers in arms by the end of this show because they're too fucking good, man. They're too good. It's such good TV watching Matty and Luke go at it.
Uh-huh.
And I can only imagine how good they would be going against other people.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, we've gotten away from it, and
Yeah,
this is what
sorry.
happens when I don't have notes for episode 8. But yeah, they do the swimming challenge. The contenders win reward for the first time, I think.
Coffee, cafe, all the good stuff.
And Ross throws up.
He hit hard too early.
Yeah. Well, no, you see, because the next day he was like, I had like 7 coffees yesterday. When he threw up, he'd only had 4. That means it was a strategic vom, so he could fit 3 more in.
Genius. But you could tell, like,
Brilliant.
the next day afterwards, just like, oh yeah, like, he's still hyperactive.
Ross has been taking notes from my visits to Howling Owl, the gin bar here in Adelaide.
Like, the whole team, like,
Little strategic vom.
you had Matty, he got his chocolate eclairs, you had like pretty much all of them are just rubbing in the face of the champions, just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you thought they were dangerous before, now they're starting to win rewards. Holy shit. You get some food in Matty Wahlberg's belly.
Oh,
I mean, we saw it.
yep,
Because they won the immunity again. Right? With the tipping the water buckets. Okay. And Matty Wahlberg has paid tribute to Sarah multiple times, saying like that she's incredibly brave, super inspirational to him.
Tsunami Survivor,
And-
like, yeah, the water challenge, yeah.
Yeah, he clearly has great respect for this woman. Didn't stop him from pouring water into the hole to
No.
to get her out. But even when the water like got to the top, she stayed under for a while.
Yeah.
And despite this, they vote her out.
Yeah. It was a real dick move there, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. She, again, the champions, like you said, they're focusing on their relationships and not focusing on who can help them win the game. She has shown strength and perseverance and triumph in the face of literal PTSD,
Yeah.
right? And, like, there is no one at this point on that tribe who has done anything close to what she's done, and they vote her out.
I
In
thought,
terms of gameplay, like, you want to win, you need someone with that kind of strength.
and like Sarah thought that she'd have to try and play everyone else's game, like try and turn the manipulation and turn the sides against everyone. So she's trying to go on to David, she's trying to talk to Andy, and just she's tried to curry favor with these guys, but no, they're too stuck in their mindsets at the moment.
Well, she made a good move when she caught Andy whispering, or not whispering, when she caught Andy failing to whisper,
Yes.
when talking to Daisy and revealing Sarah's plans to vote Daisy. She was smart, and she immediately got angry, stormed off, went and spoke to other people, and was like, "I want Andy gone because he's a snake. If he does it to me, he'll do it to you too." Right? He can't be trusted, and so that was a strong move on her part.
Yeah.
And I actually thought Andy was going to go home.
So did I. Yeah.
But they blindsided and they just all pretended that they were going to vote for Andy, and they all voted for Sarah, which I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Unless they're thinking to themselves, he's a safe elimination next time because we all know he's a snake.
Yeah, like it seems like he's out of cards now.
Well, I'm curious to see just how much flailing he does in this next episode because he's already swinging wildly. But the big thing for me coming out of episode 7 is the trailer for tonight's episode 8. Sean opens the idol.
Yes.
He realizes it's a fake, and we got this in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler. It was in the trailer at the end of the last episode. But he approaches Daisy at the next challenge and whispers in her ear, "David gave me a fake idol. Get rid of him."
Yeah.
Now, how far gone to the dark side is Daisy? That's the question going into tonight's episode now for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like I said, she's become a final boss heel.
Yeah.
Does her relationship to Sean matter? I would say long-term, he's a better ally to have than David.
Yes, absolutely.
But, oh man, tonight's episode, I am on the edge of my... Like, I want it now. Why am I... I don't want to wait for this shit. I'm in hook, line, and sinker, brother.
And we should touch on as well the other person who found an idol this week as well. You had Harry. Yes.
In this episode, they won reward, but Harry couldn't find a clue.
No.
And so he just was like, I'm just going to walk around the bush and poke around at things and hope I find an idol, because if we go to tribal council tonight, I'm in danger because it's 5-4 champions contenders. Now, with that idol and the right politicking, should the contenders go to council, if Matty, Harry, Sean, and Casey stick together, if they stick together under the knowledge that Harry has an idol, you have Matty, Casey, and Sean all convince the other side that they're going to vote off Harry, right? But actually be voting off, you want it to be Janine, Pia, or Abby. You got to get rid of one of those girls. Right? That brings it down to 4-4 contenders champions.
Very smart.
Right? So you flush the idol. You all pretend you're going to vote for Harry. Everyone else on the other alliance votes for Harry. He uses the idol to save himself, and then you have the 3 votes going to Janine, Abby, or Pia to get rid of them. Harry could be the key to saving the contenders here. Otherwise, I feel like that women's group is so strong, and I feel like Ross will go along with Janine.
Yes.
I feel like it's way too strong, and they will get rid of... They'll start with Harry, and then they'll get rid of Casey, and then they'll get rid of Maddie, and then they'll get rid of Sean if they have the opportunity.
You have to think that the wrestling relationship between Maddie and Harry has to play some kind of like strategy into this. Like
we hope so. We haven't seen it.
Like, you know, like interesting enough, because they talk about how they talk about how Harry's an ice cream man, and he's saying he has 4 jobs, right? They say he's an ice cream man, he's a dietitian, and like they said another one, but they haven't said what the 4th job is. And I think they're going to actually reveal later on, just like, oh yeah, I'm a wrestler too. And then
well, he's not anymore.
Like,
he's retired.
He's retired. Sorry, but just like I was a wrestler as well, and I don't know. I think they're going to touch on that history, maybe, like if the politicking
maybe show him and Maddie bonding a little. Yeah. Maybe. Because I know Maddie said that he told him on day one, like in the interview. And I tried to line up an interview with Harry this week, but when you're talking about Survivor, it's you got to go through people, and the people didn't get back to me. So
Yeah.
we didn't get an interview with Harry this week. I'm going to work on it for next week. I still want to try to get Harry on the show, and then maybe with the building of this angle on Instagram, I kind of want to speak to Luke too, to be honest with you. because it feels like wrestling, man. It feels like wrestling, the way they build these feuds. At the moment, who are your biggest who are your picks to win as things stand right now? Who are your players to watch? Let's call it that.
It's kind of hard. Like I'm looking at pretty much all the contenders at this point. Like I no one really on the champion side is really catching my eye as going the distance right now. Like, aside from, like, it sounds like I'm biased, but I honestly think Matty is going to be in this for the long game. I'm looking at more the athletes. Like, honestly, I think Sean and, I think John's going to, again, like, he seems naturally...
John will go away?
John seems like he's going to be, like, the silent guy who's just, he's built for Survivor.
Yeah, if that Women's Champion Alliance bring Casey on board... I think that they're pretty unstoppable towards merge as well.
But then again, though, like, if they keep winning immunity challenges, like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And that's the hope, because we want Matty to make it, and at the moment the numbers are against him. But I'm very curious to see what happens tonight. Episode 8, 7:30 p.m. In your local time zone on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Survivor. Get around all the Matty Wahlberg action. It really is, like, if you're a wrestling fan that listens to this podcast, they're building stories better than WWE.
Yeah. And it's just like, we're in our element, just like again, as we mentioned, like, we are not fans of Survivor, but we are wrestling fans, and, like, we are familiar with this kind of storytelling, and it's refreshing just to be, like, analyzing all these relationships and just how these stars interact with each other.
Yeah. And the build to the eliminations and stuff, it's fascinating telly. I'm enjoying it a lot, and we'll be back next week with another one of these. Mr. Mysterious, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Mr. Mysterious with the 17i, and Grapple as well. Like, you can follow us on our journey, just keeping up to date with we've got Newey Pro, we've got PWA on there as well. How about yourself, Greg?
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram, also Greg Unchained on Grapple. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, because wrestling will fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.
Catch you guys.